Okay, so for the next thing we're going to be doing is taking off the rear fender. In order to get off the rear fender, you are going to have to take the entire back wheel off, and that's going to require you to put this up on a paddock stand so you can spin everything around. It's going to take a 27 mil, okay, on a breaker bar so that you can get this bolt here off. You're going to take these pieces off, make sure you don't lose them. We're going to go back to this side, and we're going to start pressing this out. And I'm going to need both hands in order to do that. So we'll be doing this with, the wheel's going to be off the next time. I'm going to take that pin out and pull the chain off, okay? Okay, so that took 2 hands, and you just got to tilt the wheel in order to get it out. Next thing we're going to do is use a T30 star bit, and we're going to remove these bolts here. Then we're going to go down, and at the bottom of the fender are these two, which hold it all in. So that is going to pull this piece here apart, and most likely we'll undo these ones over here as well, get it off of this mounting bracket. Okay, so now that I got the rear assembly unbolted, what I'm going to end up having to do is unplug the lights in the back here, and the wires, if you can see, get routed through these little clips. It's hard to focus, but we'll be pulling the wires out of these clips all the way back down here so that when it comes time, we can pull everything through there and then wire the lights that are going to go in the back over here. Then I'll finish taking off the rest of the fender. Now, so before we go any further, it's going to be important to go ahead and take out the battery. You pop off the cover. In order to do that, you are going to need a, let's see, pick it up. It's a 3/16 Allen key, and you just, of course, you put it in here, you unscrew that, that'll take it out. Go ahead and you're going to disconnect your positive and your negative. So you got a Phillips head for your positive, and it's going to be another 3/16 for your negative. And then you're just going to disconnect and pull out your battery. Okay? That way you can do all your electrical work and not really have to worry about it. Okay? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to be pulling out your air box. Okay? To do the air box, you're going to be undoing a 12 millimeter bolt that's back here. Okay? Pull that out, and then you're going to have to take off this cover here. Okay, and this is just a, I forget what size, but little star bit. So you're going to pull that off, and it's going to expose the next 2 bits that you're going to have to undo. Okay, and these are back here. These are both 27s. Okay, so at the top there, you're going to undo this one, and then down here, it's kind of hard to see, but there is another one down there that you're going to undo. Once you get those undone, you're going to take out this box here. Okay. Okay, so one thing the instructions don't seem to tell you is that in order to take this off, you're going to end up having to undo these 2 clamps over here. And these, you take off your cover over here. That's a T15. I didn't tell you before, these were T20s. And so now that you got this unclamped, you should, with a little bit of monkeying, be able to disconnect your air box. Okay, and that'll take a little bit of work. All right, so just a couple of quick things. In order to disconnect this, there is this plug here that you're going to want to unplug from here. And then you also have your hose here that you are going to be unplugging from over here. So once you get all this stuff off and you are looking for this wiring connector, okay, and this is for your turn signals and everything, and you're going to want to unclip that one. Just be careful in the winter. It's a little hard to get that piece down without the fear of breakage. Next step is going to be taking off the seat. Here you use a number 50 star in order to undo your seat bolts, and once you get all that off, you just pull the seat off. All right, now that we have the seat off, our next steps are going to use a number 3 Allen wrench on these bolts up here, and then a number 15 star wrench on these over here. And what we're going to do is essentially mount this light bracket to these pieces and then put the emblem back over it. Okay, and just a quick tip on when you're putting this together. Number 1, don't forget the washers that come with the kit. That's where they're going to go. And number 2, when you tighten this up, make sure that you tighten these down first, because if you do these ones first, then everything will be way too lifted up in order for you to do that. So if you tighten these first, then go to these ones, everything will kind of bend into place. And you're left with something like that, which looks pretty damn snazzy. And I can't wait to see how this is all going to go together as far as wiring goes and tucking everything down underneath here. All right. I previously had a little mystery as to what was going on with this hookup over here for the wires, because as I traced them up, I realized that the old harness did not match at all. So as it turns out of my kit, I was actually missing a replacement wiring harness that is supposed to hook in there. Okay, thankfully I just gave a call to an email to Justin Vogel. He gave me the new clips, and this part will plug into where the other one did, and then I have matching wiring harnesses for the other parts. Okay, so I'll be able to go ahead and hook that up and get the seat lights running. Okay, so now everything is plugged in. The new harness is routed through down here and going back into the battery box. Okay, so that is all hooked up. Now, you have your connectors with the new harness, green and black to green and black, red and black to red and black, brown and black to brown and black, and then you're going to have your white and black. Now that is going to generally, usually if you weren't going to be doing the license plate relocator, you would then route this all the way back here and then, have it all set up for the new license plate bracket. Now, because they do not supply a mount or anything to cover up this god-awful hole in the rear of the fender, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. That's going to be a this weekend with a single drink to steady the nerves type of job. I'm not one with good luck when it comes to cutting frames and such, but so because I'm not using their relocator for up here for the regular kit, I'm using the swing arm relocator that I have mounted down here. One of the things it does is it gives you this extension connection, which I have hooked up here, and I'm going to just have to tidy up the wires, and I'm going to hide everything behind the saddlebag. So that'll all be zip tied there. So now that that's done, we have the lights for the seat hooked up. I just gotta basically tidy it all together, try to hide those wires as best as I can, bolt everything back down, and then I can replace the airbox and the battery and test the lights. There are instructions because after you switch out for LED, a lot of people are complaining about the lights flashing too much. There are instructions on how to make that less intense and more of a regular flash. And then I already have the turn signal swapped out for this. And pretty soon I should hope to be done. So the next project is going to be installing these new Rage Cycles 360 turn signals. And what these are going to do is go over here and we're going to take off these big old stock ones, and these just kind of fit around. And what it does is it makes it so that the turn signal can be seen kind of from the front, from the side, and even from a little bit of the back. And it also really cuts down on that profile. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a number 5 Allen key and undo all of the lights. Okay, we're going to pull them through, the wires, get them all down here to where the wire harness is, down this way. Okay, we're going to cut the wires, and then we're just going to hook these up using, I got these heating, the soldering shrink wrap, connectors. So it's going to end up being a fairly easy process. Okay. Here are the soldering connections that I'm using in order to put these wires back together. Using the red ones in this case. And so what happens is you put it on, you heat it up, and that solder will melt. So I'm going to try to get this on camera. Now mind you, the worst luck I have ever had with a bike all comes from an electrical issue. So I can't say that I go into these types of projects being super confident. So we just go ahead, get our heat gun, Harbor Freight Special, and we just apply some heat. Okay, so just let that go ahead and cool off a bit, and then we'll go ahead and fit this shrink wrap over. All right, and we'll do that to all the connections. Okay, so now that we got the battery rehooked up, we are going to do a check to make sure that all the lights work. We can expect that all of the turn signals are going to flash a lot faster than they normally would, but I have a set of instructions that we can follow in order to set them to type 2 LED. Okay, so what we're going to do, go ahead, set it on, let it do its funny stuff. Start off brake lights, work. Let me get a better angle of that if I can. Okay, starting with the turn signals. See, that goes pretty fast. And you can see over there, pretty fast. Very fast. But they work. and the four-ways. Four-ways seem to go at a normal speed. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these instructions here. To deal with the quick flashing, what we're going to do is we are going to be changing the type of lights from type 1 to type 2, which is the LED. And what that's going to do is that it's going to slow down the flashing so that it's more like a regular indicator. So this page is pretty much straight from the Haynes manual. And what we're going to do is up here, we're going to hold on to the I button and we are going to change it, just hitting the buttons until it's type 2, then we hold it until it's no longer there. Okay, and now let's go ahead and confirm that everything's working. Okay, still seems a little fast. As it turns out, for these types of signals, instead of type 2, like it shows in these directions, you're going to have to set them to type 4. And with type 4, everything flashes at a normal pace. So, pretty sure we can call this part of the installation done. Now, next, we're going to turn our attention to the fender. That'll be a different video.